Mario here, coach of the Gliscor, bringing you today's Week 10 PPL D2 battle against Paul and the Philadelphia Flygons. Now last week, we picked up our second win in a row, the longest stretch of the season, unfortunately, and we moved to 500. 4 wins, 4 losses, and 1 tie. Can't get any more average than that. This week we have a chance to improve our record and ensure a non-losing season. So let's get started. I expect him to lead with Landorus, and I lead with my Nidoking. Unfortunately, he probably expected me to lead with Mamoswine and leads with the Vaporeon. I switch out into my Keldeo because Vaporeon really can't do anything to Keldeo. He goes for Scald, and just like last week against the Suicune, I'm hoping for no burn, and luckily no burn. Now I don't know what this Vaporeon can do to me. Obviously, it has access to some utility moves. I go for Substitute, while he goes for Toxic, which leads me to believe that the switch to Keldeo was the better choice instead of switching to Cradily. I go for Calm Mind because knowing the standard set of Vaporeon, the fact that he has Toxic means that he's missing one of his support moves. Unfortunately, he has Roar, so that whole 2 turns right there are for nothing. He roars me out into my Cradily, possibly the best switch. He goes for Toxic, and right here we just trade Toxic. Unfortunately, Cradily for me is probably more important than Vaporeon for him. I decided to switch out my Cradily and go out into my Jolteon. As he goes for an Ice Beam. I could have stayed in and set up my rocks right there, but I tried getting some offensive momentum going on, and right here I need to kind of think, what is he going to go into? I expect him to switch and do one of his ground type Pokemon, and that's what he does. So right now, right off the bat, we are in good shape as he goes out into his Piloswine. Now this thing right here is a pain. I really didn't prep too hard for it because, I mean, Piloswine don't really usually encounter those, but I straight up go for the Secret Sword, unfortunately. I should have gone for the Hydro Pump, but I thought maybe the Vaporeon wanted to come back in. Now I know that this Aromatisse is, in fact, his switch to my Keldeo. I don't want to stay in, and I'm expecting a Moonblast right here. So I go, and I switch into my Nidoking. I know that, unfortunately, I'm going to lose the Airballoon, but he predicts my switch, or not, and goes for Psyshock and hits me hard. At this point, my first misplay of the game, I should have gone for my prediction. I thought he'd switch into the Landorus, but I thought it was too early to predict. I could have killed Landorus right here, right now. Could have killed Landorus. Unfortunately, I went with a safe play and went for the Sludge Wave. I could have lived any other attack that Aromatisse went for, so I don't know why I didn't make the prediction. Unfortunately, Landorus is still around. I go into my Gramble, the only thing that can switch into a Landorus, as he goes for an Earthquake. And this does more damage than I want it to, and unfortunately, because I'm running the Assault Vest, I have no way to recover. I straight up go for the Play Rough, expecting to switch. I see he didn't go for a U-turn, meaning he's probably Choice Scarf. And unfortunately, I missed the Play Rough, which would not have done much, but it would have been damage at least. I, for some reason, stay in and take the Moonblast. I wanted to see what type of Aromatisse this was, whether offensive or defensive, and this kind of let me know that this was a defensive Aromatisse, and by offensive I meant specially defensive. He goes for Moonblast. I go back out into my Nidoking, and as you can see, it doesn't do anything. This turn predict him to switch into his Landorus, and he outplays me right here and goes out into his Piloswine. And as you can see, this Ice Beam does nothing to the Piloswine. I'm forced to switch out and sacrifice my Gramble because, again, I have nothing that can switch into a baby Mamoswine. At least I get to lower its attack once, and the Ice Shard is not going to be enough to take me out, but the Earthquake is. I thought I specifically EV'd my Gramble to outspeed Piloswine, but he must have some type of investment, or I EV'd it wrong. Now I go out with my Keldeo, and I know he's switching out, so I go for the Hydro Pump, and again, he predicts that and switches into Vaporeon. So this is just mind games, and everything's going his way. He's beating me. He's making the better plays. I'm not sure if I'm being too predictable at this point, but he's just playing well, and things aren't looking great. I obviously don't want to stay in and take another Toxic or a Scald Burn, so I switch out into my Jolteon, which is probably the least useful thing on the team right now. And because he has 2 Ground-type electric immunities, I can't freely go for an electric-type attack. And I need a way to get in my Mamoswine. So I decide to sack off my Jolteon right here. I go for the Signal Beam, the nice neutral attack. And as you can see, it actually does a decent amount to the Piloswine. Unfortunately, it doesn't matter because Mamoswine would be able to kill either way, but I'm really on the back foot. I need to start making plays, and the only thing I can do here is to sack off my Jolteon. At this point, this gives me a free switch into the Mamoswine, and I know something is going to die. He decides not to get a little chip damage off and maybe break a Focus Sash that I didn't have, but right there I reveal that I am Life Orb, and out comes his Hydreigon. I know that I can't kill with an Ice Shard, so I switch out into my defensive wall, and out comes Cradily, but he predicts that, or maybe he doesn't. He goes for the Steel type attack, and it does less than half, and it reveals that he's Life Orb, which means my Keldeo will outspeed it. And because of the leftover recovery, I know I can take one more Flash Cannon, so I decide that Keldeo is my way to win, and I need to get my Stealth Rocks up. Here comes his Flash Cannon, and he gets a crit. He gets a big crit that matters a lot, because my Stealth Rocks would have been up, which means Ice Shard would have killed Thundurus, and Hydro Pump would have killed Thundurus as well. He switches out. I go for the Hydro Pump, predicting his switch. There's no way he's sacking off his Hydreigon. In comes his Aromatisse, takes the Hydro Pump to the face, and it does well over half, which means one more will take it out, and he has nothing to switch in. Another Hydro Pump goes off, and down goes the Aromatisse. Luckily, there were no misses, but still, that crit was very unfortunate, and might be the one of the sole reasons for the loss. In comes his Thundurus. I'm not making any predictions here. I'm just sacking off my Nidoking. And he goes for the safe play, goes for the Psychic. Down goes Nidoking. Now, right here, this upcoming turn is the biggest turn in the game. I bring in my Mamoswine. And I know personally, because of my investment, that I can live any one hit. And had I, right here, I went for the Stealth Rock, predicting him to switch out. He stays in for whatever reason. Had I gone for Icicle Crash, I would have won the game. But because he stayed in, I lose. There was really no reason for him to stay in. He told me it was because of his investment, because of the roll. He thought he could kill me. But had he switched out, or I would have killed him, I would have won. Unfortunately, Keldeo can't battle back and pull off the win, and because his Landorus is Scarfed, I lose. Had I made the... Here's the reason why I thought the Stealth Rocks were important. Had he switched out and gone into his Vaporeon, I would have gotten my rocks up. I would have let Mamoswine go down to Vaporeon. I then would have been able to bring in Keldeo, set up a sub, and killed the rest of his team. Hydro Pump would have killed the Thundurus after the rocks. But those are just one of those plays where it didn't go my way. for one reason or another, we lost this game, and we fall to 4 wins, 5 losses, 1 tie. Paul, you played great. Probably the best I've seen you play this year. And no shame in losing. Good luck for the last week of the season. I hope you all enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more PPL D2 action.